My name is Jan Raji, and I'm very excited to welcome you to a new program on Pittsfield Community Television called Berkshire Family History Association Presents. Our program will feature speakers and topics of interest to family historians and genealogists. BFHA has been in existence since 1975, and its mission is to promote and encourage the study of family history and genealogy. We are based in the local history department of the Berkshire Atheneum, Pittsfield's public library. And one of the main functions of Berkshire Family History is to make the vast and unique resources of that department available to those unable to come to the library in person. Membership in BFHA entitles you to free research by our team, and you can check out our website for more information. So our first guest in our new program is Lisa Doherty, a well-known professional genealogist, lecturer, and volunteer. She is a member of the Association of Professional Genealogists and a graduate of the ProGen Study Group. Lisa has been a family historian for over 25 years. A former volunteer at the National Archives and Records Administration in Pittsfield, she has used her experiences there to assist many people through educational presentations. She offers weekly genealogy volunteer sessions at libraries around New York's capital region. Visit her website, which will be on your screen, for her schedule and for more details. Today's show is part one of a two-part program on the topic of Ancestry Library Edition. So, Berkshire Family History presents Lisa Doherty.
We're here today to talk about Ancestry Library Edition. Now, most people have probably heard about Ancestry.com, probably through its many commercials that it has on TV, or possibly through people that you know who have used it. But Ancestry.com is one of the most important resources for researching your family history. Something you may not know about Ancestry, and especially Ancestry Library Edition, is that it's free to use in your local public library. And so we're going to be talking today about Ancestry Library Edition and how you can access it at your public library. So just to get started, we'll talk about what is Ancestry Library Edition, the things that you can do and can't do with Ancestry Library Edition, how you access Ancestry Library Edition, and what is some of the basic content that's offered. So starting with what exactly is Ancestry Library Edition, it's a collection of billions of records, including census data, vital records, directories, photos, ancestry family trees, but it is the largest, most popular consumer online genealogy resource. And it is available for many of us in our local library for free. So there are some certain things that you can do with Ancestry Library Edition and some certain things that you cannot do with the Ancestry Library Edition. Of course, many people know that Ancestry is available through a home subscription, which you pay for on a monthly or yearly basis. There are some features that are available through a home subscription that are not available through the Library Edition. So we will go through those things. So first, let's start with the positives, with what you can do. You can search over 7,000 databases, and those 7,000 databases contain over 11 billion records, and that's billion with a B. And those records roughly span the years 1500 to the 2000s. The vast majority of those records are going to be in the 19th through the 20th century. Those are going to be most of the records in the collection, although it does have a span of those 500 years. You can also use records that are worldwide, including the United States, Canada, Ireland, the United Kingdom, and Germany. So one of the questions that's frequently asked is, can I get a worldwide ancestry collections with the Library Edition? And the answer is yes. You can access worldwide records with the Library Edition. So that is available to you as a part of that subscription that you would use at your library. You can access educational material on the Ancestry website. So these include how-to articles, how to use specific records, all kinds of reference materials. All of these are available via the Ancestry Library Edition. There are also things to aid in your research, suggestions for further research, and also United States maps that can be very handy for you to use in your research. You can view public family trees. One of the things that Ancestry is fairly well known for is its many, many thousands and millions of family trees that are created by the users of Ancestry.com. One of the things that you can do using the library edition is view those family trees that have been left open to the public. You can download pictures or records from those trees. You can download these things to your flash drive if you have one with you, or you can simply email those things to yourself. This is especially useful if you are going through the trees and you find pictures of your family that maybe you've never seen before that someone else has uploaded. You can download those things and use them for yourself as long as they are on a public family tree. You can also access, search, browse, and read message board postings. One of the things that Ancestry was used for formerly, not so much anymore, but was used for formerly, were message boards. People would write specific questions if they were researching in a specific area or if they were researching a specific family name. They would ask questions on the message boards, and these are things that you can search using the library edition. So you may find someone who is researching your same family or researching in the same area that you are via these message board postings. You can download any of the images like I discussed before. You can download any of those images that are on the public family trees. You can download them to a flash drive that you bring with you to the library, or you can download them to your own device if that's what you're using to access Ancestry Library Edition in the library. You can also email them to yourself. This is something that is a feature available on Ancestry Library Edition, the ability to email records and pictures to yourself. So now to discuss a few of the things that you're not able to do using Ancestry Library Edition. One of the things that you cannot do is you cannot access your DNA test. So if you have taken an Ancestry DNA test, you will not have access to that test using Ancestry Library Edition. The only way you can have access to your DNA test is if you log into your own Ancestry account. So DNA tests are not available in the Ancestry Library Edition. Another thing you can't do is you cannot access your own personal family tree. So if you have a family tree on Ancestry, you are not able to access that tree via Library Edition. You also couldn't make changes to it or access your hints, because these are personal to your own Ancestry account. So you would need to log into your Ancestry account to be able to access those features. You also cannot contact other Ancestry members through the Library Edition. You would be able to see their membered name, you would be able to see who they are, but you would not have any ability to contact them through the Library Edition. You could, however, make note of what their usernames are, and you could go home and log into your own account and contact them. But personal contact with other Ancestry members is not something that can be done through the Library Edition. Another thing you can't do is you can't sync your family tree from Ancestry to Family Tree Maker or Roots Magic. These are features that are only available with a personal Ancestry account. So you cannot access either of these through Ancestry Library Edition. Another limitation of Ancestry Library Edition is that the only place you can access it is within the library. So you need to be physically in the library in order to access Ancestry Library Edition. You can use your own computer if you bring a laptop, if you bring a tablet, if you bring your phone. you can access Ancestry Library Edition through the Berkshire Atheneum website, but you cannot access Ancestry Library Edition outside of the library. So you do need to be physically in the library. So how do we access the Ancestry Library Edition? When we get to the library, how do we get to it? So the first thing to remember is that we want to talk about only accessing in a participating library, and the Berkshire Atheneum is a participating library, so you can access the Ancestry Library Edition in the library. You can either access it on a library computer, or you can access it on your own personal device. Either way, you're going to be accessing through the library's website. So on a library computer, those will be already set up to be set to the library's website. On your own computer, you will have to navigate to the library's website. Each library that you visit, so if you go to a different library, the access to Ancestry Library Edition is going to differ slightly. Each website, each library website has its own setup, and they have their own special ways of accessing this particular resource. So we're going to look at how you would access Ancestry Library Edition using the Berkshire Atheneum homepage. So when you go to the Berkshire Atheneum homepage, which is pittsfieldlibrary.org, you're going to click on the word Explore, which appears at the top of the page. After you click on Explore, you're then going to click on Online Databases. From Online Databases, you will click on Family History and Genealogy. And then from there, you would click on Ancestry Library Edition, and you will be automatically logged in. And so from there, you can begin searching. So one of the questions that's often asked about Ancestry Library Edition is what kind of content is available? What exactly can I search when I'm searching Ancestry Library Edition? What's available for me to find out about my family history? Well, there are, of course, as we know, billions of records available. But most people starting out, or most people who are doing genealogy, are going to concentrate on a few key record set areas. One of the most basic of those record set areas is going to be the census records. The United States Census was taken every 10 years, starting in 1790, and the most recent census that we can access comes from 1950. So every 10 years from 1790 to 1950 would be available for access. Other census records available on Ancestry Library Edition include the UK, Canada, other foreign countries that took censuses. Those would have to be looked up by you, whoever's doing the research. Another very important record group that has lots of records to access on Ancestry Library Edition are the birth, marriage, and death records. These are collectively known as vital records. They record information from a person's birth, a person's marriage, and a person's death. These vary widely on the Ancestry website. Different states have different rules as far as access governing the access to their vital records. You will have to do some research into the state that you are interested in using to find out. And conversely, other countries also have different rules and different years are available, so that's something that needs to be researched. But this is a resource that you can use on Ancestry Library Edition. Immigration records. Immigration records are probably one of the most popular records that people are interested in looking at. And immigration records as a group contain things like passenger lists. They contain things like naturalization records. They contain lots of other different records that have to do with international relationships between countries. So things like ships' passenger lists for ports like Boston and New York. These are things that can be accessed on Ancestry Library Edition. Also, a collection of naturalization records. Again, this varies widely from place to place. This is something that needs prior research for you to know whether the place you're interested in has naturalization records available. There are also things like Canadian border crossings, which are available in this category. Passport applications, also available. Images of some of the immigrant ships that our ancestors arrived on will also be included in this category. Another very popular category is military records. Ancestry has a wonderful collection of military records for all of the major conflicts in American history, beginning prior to the Revolutionary War and coming right up until about the Vietnam War and possibly a little bit later. Generally, more modern records are protected by privacy laws, but your earlier records are going to be available. So if you're searching for information about, say, a Civil War ancestor, it's very possible you will find information on Ancestry.com. Military records are available, of course, in other places, but they can be used on Ancestry for free with the Ancestry Library Edition. Another very important part of Ancestry Library Edition are the public member trees. The family trees on Ancestry are user contributed. So that means that Ancestry users have contributed these trees. That being said, a word of caution is in order here. Just because it appears on Ancestry doesn't make it correct. Many times what happens with people who are inexperienced researchers, and all of us were that at one point in time, inexperienced researchers will look at a family tree that includes one of their ancestors, and they will be excited and they will say, wow, this is my ancestor. That has to be right because it's here in black and white and it's on the internet and someone has entered this information. Well, it's very wise when you're looking at a user-contributed family tree to be cautious. You need to take the information that you're looking at in the tree and check out each piece of it very carefully, using the records that we just discussed, the census records, the vital records, the immigration records, the military records. So you want to use those records to assess the information that you're seeing in the Ancestry family trees. There are millions of these trees in Ancestry. So the chances are very good that you are going to find someone in these family trees that is in your family tree. So what you will need to do is you will need to access and assess the information very carefully before you take it as gospel. Ancestry family trees are good resources, but they need to be used with caution. So as you are searching, keep in mind that each record must be looked at carefully, and each person in the tree needs to be accessed in a proper way. So just to wrap up a little bit about Ancestry Library Edition, it's available for free, which is a wonderful resource to use for your family history. It can be accessed by anyone using a computer at the Berkshire Atheneum. You can use this resource to find out more about your family, to start your family tree, to work on some of those brick walls that you have with your family tree. But keep in mind that it's a process. It takes time, it takes practice. People that are doing this do this for a long time, and they learn how to look at these records. And the best way to do it is to try and to keep trying. Normally, based on my experience, what I tell people is for every 10 searches I do, 7 come up unsuccessful. And that might sound like a kind of a staggering statistic, but in actuality, each search will teach you a little something. It will teach you what works with the search engine and what doesn't. So I consider every search of value. So every search will teach you how to search better, and hopefully, as you learn, your searches will become more fruitful and you will discover a lot more about your family tree. This will be the end of part 1. too fast, you think?
Thank you, Lisa, for this very enlightening presentation. I'm sure many of our viewers will be very excited to examine this resource. Pittsfield Library is one near us that we can use. Check with your library if you are not local and see if they offer it. So I'm sure our viewers are looking forward to part 2 and learning more about this terrific resource. Thank you, Lisa.